Islam, 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 Islam. Welcome to Canaanland Moors, February 24th class. Yeah, we're about 3 minutes behind today. Just dealing with stuff, yo. Crazy right now. Crazy. But the show goes on. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love. We coming down to the end of our Moorish History Month demonstrations. By the views on some of the videos, it looks like people are getting, you know, their money's worth from the classes, because you get what you pay for, and we don't charge, so people must be getting something from it. So I want to say Islam to all the Moors who supported by doing their classes with us, sharing their information with us, because it's something that has to be done. Putting the information out so that our people can finally, after 100 years, finally get to Noble Drew Ali and what he brought for them. They can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel, because there's been a lot of dirt in this movement, and these violators still around chilling, doing what they do, keeping the people away from their nationality and birthright. So we want to give high honors to all the Moors that come into this with their eyes wide open, seeing and knowing, and are willing to carry out what Noble Drew Ali ordered, which is be yourself. Doesn't cost you anything. Nationality is free all over the world. And once we, as Moorish Americans, put the profit up front, the rest is pretty much history, because Noble Drew Ali already did everything. There's nothing that we have to do other than give him honors. Give our honors to Allah for sending us a prophet, and everything is going to be smooth sailing. As soon as we start playing the game of not understanding what Noble Drew Ali brought, because we're listening to some clown, has a fez on, they're saying that this is what it is, Noble Drew Ali said, but they don't have anything to back up what Noble Drew Ali said. All they're doing is parroting, talking out their mouth. Here we are, 100 years later. So, worldwide, we want to say peace to all the Moors, anywhere you're at. You got a Moroccan flag hanging somewhere, you got fez, you got a nationality card, you recognize Noble Drew Ali as a prophet, you recognize Father of the Universe, you recognize Allah. I think we have unity. You recognize Canaanland Moors, watch class every week. You recognize Moorish Heritage and History School. You recognize Taj Tweed Bey as a master teacher, Grand Sheikh Nature El Bey as a master teacher, Alina El Bey as a master teacher, Sister Rosmariah V. Bey as a master teacher, Anita El as a master teacher. You watch Brother Ponteus YouTube, listen to his phone calls, he's beating people up with law. And we have unity. You listen to Iron Sheik Moorish MC, listen to Shikran, think that we got unity. You gotta listen to anybody talking about where's the unity in the Moorish movement and all that crap, because we already know that there's unity amongst Moors who are studious. So Islam to all the studious Moors who stay their ass home and study. They're not out there parading around, you know, doing whatever. Islam to all the Moors who don't post fat ass girl pictures and breasts and whatever else on Facebook or whatever social media. Islam to you Moors, for posting information, to inspire our people to get down with their nationality and birthright. Islam to all the Moors who stay true to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and that realize as soon as we start talking and niggers start playing the game like they don't want to hear what we're saying, and they need verification for everything, and where you get that from, and whatever like that, instead of going and researching what we told them, you know what I mean? Leave those people where they're at, as long as all you Moors. Because we're not in here to play games. We're not here to be somebody's leader or whatever like that. We're here to uplift all humanity. If humanity doesn't want to be uplifted, you stay in the slums of whatever it is that you're in. And, you know, maybe next life. Where are we going today? Today we got, a little bit of stuff to cover, the usual. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to bring up. Islam to all the Moors, all the international Moors. Can't forget you Moors. All the Moors on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean who are coming into nationality and birthright. Islam to all those Moors across the Atlantic Ocean. Supreme honors to you for not wanting to be Africans and black over there. Islam to y'all. So as usual, you know what I mean? We always got to check the free newspaper, see what's going on, just so we can, see what's going on. Because there's things going on to let Moors know that this is real. There's things going on to let Moors know that this is real. Oh yeah, can't forget. Can't forget my favorite Moors. Islam to all the Europeans that are naturalizing into the Moorish divine and national movement and becoming pseudo Moors and proclaiming that they have allegiance to the Moorish nation, not these corporate jurisdictions that they were fooled into thinking is governments and all that stuff. So Islam to all you Moors that, are coming in as Europeans, been studying, you already know what's up, you know what I mean? Got the prophet up front and all that. You don't play around with white people, black people, and all that stuff. You already know who the Moors are. You already know what we did for you people. And you uphold that position. You uphold the fact that the Moors gave Europe every single thing that they got. And you're not backing no queen that kicked Moors out of Europe. You're not backing no St. Patrick that killed the Nagas. You know what I mean? You're calling out all those frauds. Honors to you. So the free newspaper, Metro News, Tuesday, February 24th. This is what's going on right now. And it's real. It's so real that you gotta talk about it. Our first stop, this is on page 7, coincidence? More believe in coincidences? No, we don't believe in coincidences because we know that Allah governs all events, regardless of what pigmentation, how, whether they have high concentration or low concentration of melanin. We already know that Allah governs all events. So this is on page 7 of the free paper, Metro News. Toronto High School students take their principal to court and win. high school. High school students. Now, keep in mind that, they went to a fraudulent court. They didn't go to Supreme Court, nothing like that. But we're dealing with principles. We're dealing with, what? Why are you going to take their principle? Why are you taking the principle to court? Superior Court rules that a mandatory breathalyzer test at prom infringes on constitutional rights. We'll just get Simon Gillies and Brett Gorski from Northern Secondary School. Get them on the record. You can see some Europeans, they're not talking about charter rights violation. They're not talking about charter rights violation. They're talking about constitutional rights, right? But they use the so-called charter of rights and freedoms to make their claim. But the law, so-called law, Superior Court, said that, rules that a mandatory breathalyzer test at prom infringes on constitutional rights, not on charter rights. Remember, this is on page 7. In a precedent-setting decision, 2 Toronto high school students took their principal to court and won the battle against compulsory breath testing at prom. The Superior Court ruled in favor of the students Monday, stating a mandatory breathalyzer test at prom infringed on their constitutional rights. Jonathan Lissus, Lisus, a civil litigation lawyer who represented the students in a pro bono capacity, means free, didn't pay fiat, said the ruling was about more than just alcohol at school proms. It has cemented the fact that the charter, the supreme law of the land, applies to school authorities. The charter of rights and freedoms for Canada is the supreme law of the land. And it applies to school authorities. Interesting. Interesting because when you read this so-called Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it tells you in it that it only applies to members of parliament. It doesn't even apply to the citizenry. And anybody that the so-called members of parliament, give some jurisdiction to do stuff, which includes school board trustees, school board, school people. Never before have the courts ruled on the application of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms in regard to relationship between schools and students. The case first began back in April 2014 when Northern Secondary School Principal Ron Felsen decided to roll out compulsory breath testing at prom without consulting the student council. Without consulting the student council. So that means that the student council is a body politic. So the body politic of the school, right? So the representatives of the students, which is the student council, is the students' quote-unquote government. The quote-unquote government, right, the domestic government of the school, which is student council, had issues with the president, which is the principal. And they took him to court and won. Precedent-setting decision, according to the lawyer. Felsen said he was introducing mandatory breath testing as a last resort to counteract a culture of intoxication at school dances, which has seen 2 students hospitalized. Students Brett Gorski and, well, it's a girl, so I guess her name's Simone, Simon, Simon, boy's name, I think. S. Gillies, the president and vice president of the school council, disagreed with the decision and were offended Felsen had not consulted the student body before declaring the new rule. The pair began to research how mandatory breath testing may impinge on their rights. They contacted the Canadian Civil Liberties Association for guidance and were connected with LICIS, who helped them file a charter application against Felsen and the Toronto District School Board last May. On Monday, Ontario's Superior Court ruled the students had a reasonable expectation of privacy and that school authorities did not possess reasonable grounds to conduct this type of search and seizure. Gorski, 18, told Torstar News Service she was thrilled with the ruling. Speaking over the phone from Montreal, where she is now studying management, Gorski said the decision was a triumph for the whole student body. Politic. The aim for politic, boy. Student body, that's what they're talking about. Felsen said he had been hopeful for a different outcome, but that he respected the court's decision. Breathalyzers would not be used at any upcoming proms, he said. The decision to enforce mandatory breath testing was to identify those who were intoxicated and also to act as a deterrent, Felsen said, adding he always had the students' best interests at heart. Students deserve to know that they have the rights and, despite their age, they have the power to defend themselves. 18 years old, kick their principal's ass with law. 18, some Europeans. Europeans. They'll put them on the record again for all those Negro black coloreds who say law doesn't work, law this, law that. They always have excuses when Moors bring law to them. There they are, the 2 European students who beat up their principal with law, sued them, got a lawyer to take the case pro bono, and won, as they call it, precedent-setting decision. See how much schools are going to be talking about breathalyzer at the prom now, after that. Because remember, that's going to go that's across the board now, all student councils now. We'll see what goes on. Next, J.K. Simmons receives the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role in Whiplash at the 87th Academy Awards in Hollywood, California on Sunday. During his speech, the first-time winner made an impression by urging a billion people watching the Oscars to call your mom, call your dad, tell them you love them. And of all pictures, because you just just go online and check J.K. Simmons receives Oscar. Just go online, Google that, and see all the pictures of him. And ask yourself, why? Why is the Toronto newspaper that's free using this picture on their front page? Of all the pictures that they could use, all the pictures that they could use, they're going to use this picture. Mad pictures of him, but they use this picture for the front page. Everybody knows what's up. Trying to tell these dumb Negroes, they don't want to hear nothing. They want to pretend like we don't know what we're talking about. So let them stay in their niggerdom. And we'll continue doing what we got to do to make sure that those who want this get this. Those who want this get this. We're going to go to the illustrious Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because we're still getting emails, still being in contact with a lot of Moors who are um, being sold their birthright from Moors. We're still in contact with Moors that unfortunately have to deal with these um, Inquisition supporters that have fezzes on and turbans on and call themselves Moorish Science Temple of America. I call them nigger Moors. Everybody got mad, but we're gonna bring those ones back, because if anybody's taking the position of raping their people of their own stuff that's free, those niggers. They're not my brother, so don't tell me nothing about Noble Drew Ali said don't call them niggers. Noble Drew Ali said if my brother does something to me, don't call him nigger, call her dirty Moor. Most of these people ain't my brothers, nothing, no love for them, no truth, peace, freedom, only justice, only scimitars at these people's head, because the corruption is just crazy right now. And the corruption is only crazy because of Moors like yourself, right, who are telling all those clowns, and you're going out there and you're studying for yourself, learning for yourself, finding the right Moors to learn from, so you don't get gamed by these traitors of Noble Drew Ali trying to convince you that they own Noble Drew Ali's stuff and you got to go through them to get it, when it doesn't go like that. Speaking of that, by the way, um, speaking about that, by the way, tonight we want to give high honors to the mothers of Moorish Heritage and History School, Eyes Wide Open Blog Talk, because tonight they're yielding the floor for Sons of Allah to do what they didn't get to do last week, because people trying to stop the Sons of Allah from doing whatever they gotta do. I mean, even though we put it on the record that it happened for a reason, you know what I'm saying? Because we already know we're studious Moors. We don't even need to be doing all this stuff that we're doing. We're doing this for the people who are coming in that need to be inspired to get down with what Noble Drew Ali left for them. Moors who study, they don't need here. Moors that study, they're just here just to support Islam. The Moors supporting, you know what I'm saying? So tonight is Sons of Allah, first time ever, Sons of Allah on a Tuesday. Moorish Heritage and History School, Eyes Wide Open / Sons of Allah tonight. And we're running the show tonight. Kudradwa L, Mizraim L, we're running it tonight. So make sure you tune in, 9:30, MHHS, Eyes Wide Open on Blog Talk Radio. And make sure all you people out there, spread the word, let all the haters know. Please call in with your crap so we can beat you up, because you already know that the sons, are gonna lay it down as we usually lay it down. And Islam to the brother Mizraim, make sure you go get his book. It's on rvbaypublications.com. Make sure you go support the book. So we're gonna go to the Prophet. Noble Drew Ali gave us divine warning by the Prophet for the nations, and he also gave us divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So we're just going to read the divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and put it out there, just put it out there, just so that people can know. Because if we leave this up to all these criminals that's calling themselves Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish whatever, fronting, Like they're down with Noble Drew Ali because they got fezzes on and they have Moroccan flags and whatever. When they don't have an ounce of sincerity in them, their whole position is to get you to follow them. You know what I mean? Like some pet. You know, it ain't going down. And keep in mind that, you know, when when Cujo talks, it's just Cujo talking, right? And Cujo talks how he talks because ever since he came into the movement, been backing Noble Drew Ali 100%, right? Used to be Negro black colored, African black power, all that stuff. And everything that I used to do as Negro black colored, African and all that, I came into Moorish science, everything got transferred into Moorish science. So all the music that I used to do, transfer that into Moorish science. I don't talk about anything having to do with anything other than Moorish science in my music now. And I got all the albums to prove. You can go on willofallah.com and go get all the albums so you can hear for yourself that we back Noble Drew Ali. For all the people who heard that, you know, Cujo, he doesn't follow the prophet and all that stuff. Ask those guys where their albums are for Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish movement, right? Go to khalifamedia.com. I used to write articles. We had a press called Knowledge Press Publishing, where we used to always put out articles. All types of crap going on. We used to put all that stuff out. Negro, black, colored, talk about black people, conscious community, all that type of stuff, African, whatever like that. Burnt all those articles because no status was in them, and wrote new stuff. And you could go on khalifamedia.com and go check all the books, all the people talking about Cujo's not doing whatever and he doesn't back the prophet. Ask them where's their stuff. Where's all their books that they've been supposed to write? Because they were in this movement for however long. They got one book to show. And they're talking crap. Right? So know that I talk how I talk because I put $200 a month into the dues bucket. Right? I know some grand sheet, oh yeah, you know, grand sheet can't pay, doesn't have to pay dues and all that stuff. I pay my dues because I'm also a member of the Moorish Divine and National Movement. I'm also a citizen of this. And Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, you know, he needs finance, he needs it badly. So I make sure I do my cut. So when I get to the soul plane and Noble Drew Ali checks Kudro's thing, you know, all the stuff's there that I did what I was supposed to do. All right? So this is the divine warning by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. General laws, as said by the Prophet. Every temple and head is to function by words, deeds, and actions imitating the Prophet, especially when teaching a group of Moors, any group of Moors. So Noble Drew Ali is laying it down that the heads are supposed to be teaching Moors. The heads of the temples, every temple and head, is to function by works, prove something, show something that you done whatever. Deeds show that not only that you're doing something, but that you're also doing for others, and actions. Words, deeds, and actions. Show something. Words. Remember, words is press. Words is literature. Words is something on paper. These are the general laws. The supreme laws will be handed to you later. The heads of all temples are to submit a report monthly of all finance. The heads of all temples are to refrain from all wrathful words, profanity in the mildest form, from all members of his or her temple. They must live the life of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and refrain from all alcoholic liquors or any other harmful possibility that would terminate to destroy peace or any other of the divine principles. Right? They are not to contribute to anything that will cause the public to disagree with him or her. And for one to lead a group of Moors, you must keep your house clean, clean with good deeds, kind words. Your wives, brothers must hear good works, kind words, and must know of your good deeds. So when you check the record, right, as we know, Noble Drew Ali was a statesman. Noble Drew Ali was civic-minded, constitutional. Noble Drew Ali was a trustee. Noble Drew Ali was the prophet. And the things that he laid down was for the Moors to have. The same way that CMB came and laid down stuff for the Moors to have. And people took it upon themselves to go opposite of what was laid down for them to have when they received their trusteeship of this. They're taking the position of being trustee and beneficiary at once, which can't happen. And if anybody's trying to convince you that they're ahead of a Moorish whatever, and you're a member, and they're trying to convince you that you take orders from them, better leave out them doors and go find some Moors who are doing this for real and assist them in doing more than what they're doing outside of that jurisdiction that you were in, that people are trying to give you orders when they're the ones that's supposed to be taking orders. Grand sheiks and governors, etc., are the ones that are supposed to be taking orders from the members of what to do. Moors aren't paying dues for sheiks, grand sheiks or whoever, to tell them what's supposed to happen with the funds. The people are supposed to be telling these people what to do with the funds that they're putting in the pot. If you're in a Moorish Science Temple of America right now, and you've been putting dues in the pot, you better have some say with what happens with those funds. And if you don't have say, or you don't, because you feel, hey, I ain't say nothing because, my job just to put stuff in the pot. All right. Whatever went in the pot should be going to the temple for whatever the temple has to do. People come with new ties every week and, new stuff from your dues. That's madness. And if they're taking that position, those people are criminal. Because there's Moors out there. We get calls all the time from Moors all over the place who are disgusted with their leadership where they're at. But because of this befriending dirty Moors, because everybody's Moors, so there's what Noble Drew Ali said, love instead of hate. So love traitors, right? Love traitors when that's not the position. Love some traitors when the traitors are selling you out, right? There's no way, it's impossible for Moors to be in a Moorish organization, whatever, right? Putting finance into it, and there's nothing coming out that the individual can say, I got something. It's not just putting in there and then, you've been putting stuff in there for 5 years and nothing ever came back to you yet. Those people are criminals. And they're probably robbing you. Because I bet you if you go ask them to see you or whatever, there ain't nothing going to be there, but they can't even say that word I went to. And this is the level of misprision that's been going on in the Moorish movement. Why the people now have to do things on their own that really they should be given orders for certain people to do. And this is across the board. This is not just, you know what I mean? Like if somebody says they're a member of Moorish whatever, you being involved in that have to know that the head of that is your fiduciary, is your slave. You, the member, is the one that has to take the position of making sure these people do, making sure we, the heads, do our job that's supposed to be done. And if they're not doing the job, either remove them or leave there and find some other group of Moors that are dealing with things from a sincere perspective so that more work can get done that's getting done. Because Moors are waking up all over the world right now. Moors are waking up all over the world. It's not even a secret about Moors anymore. It's in the open now about Moors. We just showed y'all the front page, dude has this got going on. At the Academy Awards, doing the Oscars, whatever, Lil Wayne coming, doing all this stuff, joining Zulu Nation and all that. All these things are happening because it's time right now, right? Probably telling, if Fed's trying to come do me like Lauryn Hill, I'm going to tell them I'm Moorish. Where are you getting that stuff from? Just, hey, that's a good line. I'll just use that as a line. Nah, he obviously studying Moorish science or whatever like that. He's Black Star. He's Black Star. He eventually had to get down with it. If him and Mos are like this, he had to get down with it. Whether they put out a Black Star album again or not, who cares? Point is, if Mos gonna proclaim nationality, talk about he's Yasin Bey, Talib Kweli better be talking about some Moorish whatever. Better. You think Raskas talking about Moorish stuff in his song? You just, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's a good line. I'll just put Moorish in here. It's obvious right now that people are on this. Whether Negroes want to accept it or not, black, colored, who are, that's up to them. But for people who are on this, people who know about Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff right now is very good time for Moors. This is great time right now for people who consider themselves Moorish American. Like we've been putting on the record since Moorish Heritage and History School started, right? it used to be just, yeah, Islam to the Moors, whatever. Now we're talking about Islam to the Moors in South Africa, Islam to the Moors in South America, Islam to the Moors in Central America, Islam to the Moors in the islands. What do you think that means? It means that people are waking up to the fact of this Moorish movement that's been laid down 100 years ago. People are just getting on it right now. But really, they're not late. Just like we said, go get the album. If you just think about, you just heard about Noble Drew Ali, don't think that he's late. You're late. Don't think, oh wow, I just heard about Noble Drew Ali. How come I never heard about this before? Maybe this should have been brought to me earlier or whatever. How come You're late if you're just finding out about Noble Drew Ali. He's not late. He was on time since 1913. He's on time. So keep in mind that it's time right now. There is no pussyfooting right now with Moors. Like it doesn't have to be. This is your birthright. People want you to think that this is not your birthright and they own this, and you need permission from them before you say that you can do this or you can do that or whatever like that. Once you're using your noggin, you're not doing premature stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Just go do something just because you heard, oh yeah, that sounds good, and you just go do that. No, it's the time right now. We're talking to, who was I talking to? Talking to Brother Omar Bey, and we were building on how the real awakening, the real coming into this um, this energy wasn't 1999. It was 2012. That was the real awakening. That was the real coming into, because from 2008 when we came into this to now, it was around that time, about 2012, when this really started kicking off or whatever. When this really started kicking off. We thought something was kicking off, but we got info when, you know what I mean? We're on the news and, oh yeah, you know what I mean? This is, but not. It's really kicking off right now. Right? Doors off the hinges right now. There's a spiritual block. There's a spiritual block, right, that is causing dirty Moors to up their activity. They have their minions going rampant right now. You just go on the Canaanland Moors YouTube page and just go check the comments. All these faceless people who have something to say about Moorish movement or whatever. You're not hearing them. They're minions for somebody. Somebody sent these people because they know people are going to read comments. And they'll put whatever up there. Let's go check some of the weird stuff. Even just like today. You know what I mean? Telling a brother, you know, well, bro, like, I went on your page. You tell me that you're black, but you're really brown and all this stuff. You tell me, oh yeah, no, it's the flash of the camera, why I look that light and stupid stuff like that. Like Moors are stupid and buy stupidness, right? And then Moors, people got L or whatever, Bay on their name, backing him. Talking about Kudro, and talking about your brothers like that and whatever like that. Yeah, I know my brothers if they want to be nigger. They're not my family. I got nationality. You're not trying to convince nobody. It's their birthright. It's their $100 that they drop. They don't want to pick up their $100. Yeah, you know what I mean. I picked my $100 up, so I don't know what to tell you. It's that time right now. And another thing too, we're gonna get back to this. Don't worry. Another thing too, active doesn't mean go to court. Active doesn't mean go claim a house. Active doesn't mean throw away your license, take the plates off, and go travel with nothing. Active means you're making yourself accessible to the people who don't have this information. Active doesn't mean you win something. You prove that you're a Moor. You know, oh, I proved that I'm a Moor, so I'm active because, you know, they took my nationality card, gave me taxes off, so yeah, now I'm an active Moor. This is not active. Active is waking up people with this info. Active is what Khalifa Media is doing, waking up people with the info. Active is what I Am Hip Hop Temple is doing, waking up people with the info. Active isn't, we're gonna go, you know, active is young Moore in Cali on the bus reading his Quran and Moore running up to him to ask him questions, and he's not even answering no questions on the goddamn bus. Give him a flyer, tell him come check the temple. We have no conversation on no bus and stuff like that. If we have a conversation, yeah, hi, how you doing? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a Moore. It's real. Here's a flyer. Even out here, we got papers sitting in the temple like stacks like this for months. There's stacks of papers just sitting there. Grand Chic Nature go open the cupboard, old issues of Moorish Guide falling out on them. They got so much papers, back issues, right? Active is Brother Abdullah, Brother Abdullah Bey. Telling the Moors in Canaanland, oh yeah, you know, I'll just send you the PDF and you guys make your own papers. I don't waste fiat, send you guys 8 bundles of papers. Why? How about here's the PDF, you guys have a paper out there, how about you just go print the paper? That's activity. Assist the people in getting this information. Because guarantee, if we don't assist the people in getting this information, the European is going to use their nigger money to come at Moors. The European is going to use their Negroes who don't want to get down with this, who they think that, yeah, they're paying taxes to our government, to come attack you and stop your flow. That's where it is. And trust me, if you're in this for some selfish gain or whatever like that, don't worry. Inquisition policy enforcers, they already got your number and they be on their way to you very soon. Very soon. Why? Because doing for your people and wanting nothing in return is a shield as well. You know, have a nationality, that's a shield. Go tell somebody about this movement and not charge them for stuff. Unwarranted charging. That's putting titanium alloy on your shield. If there are children, you must see to their support. Follow this divine principle, for if you don't restrict to this divine principle, then you are not a true Moor. And the heads are not to charge for membership, or to overcharge for cards, buttons, or for, right? So you're sitting here, you're reading the divine warning, right? And Noble Ali is talking about follow these divine principles. For if you don't restrict this divine principle, then you are not a true Moor. And the heads are not to charge for membership, right? They would stop there. So that means that during Noble Drew Ali's time, they were charging for membership. This is a ancient pattern. You rob your own people. This is not something new that we're dealing with. These are, just like Noble Drew Ali said, the people who are against me yesterday are the people who are still against me today. These are the same people who assassinated Noble Drew Ali that came back again to keep doing that work. Came back in different bodies, claimed to be Noble Drew Ali and reincarnated prophets, all that stuff. Which means that they didn't do their job back then if they keep coming back here again. Or to overcharge for cards. All right, so they were doing that back then, doing that again. Again, we get every week at least one more comes and has some kind of complaint against some more who did them dirt. Every week, at least one. And then there's many others who aren't talking because why? They're friends with those dirty bastards. And they don't want to fess up and admit to themselves that they're friends with some dirty bastards. Get out from under those people there. Stop playing friendship with traitors who you know are against the Prophet. That's why we got problems. That's why there's issues in the Moorish movement. That's why, how come the Moors don't have a hospital? How come the Moors don't have, because niggas stealing the money. Yeah, that's why there's nothing. Stealing. Overcharging people for cards. Overcharging people for whatever it is that they got. We're dealing with that right now, overcharging of stuff. Yeah, we know that it takes work to do certain things. But, you know what I mean? Like, some of the charge prices we're getting for stuff or whatever like that. And then, on top of siding with dirty Moors, the Moors who are busting their ass out here to make sure that people get stuff or whatever, they don't get no support. The little support they get is, just allowing them to do whatever it is that they got to do. But, Allah governs all events, so stuff's going to get done anyways. But, reality of the situation, Drew Ali told the Moors, yo, we need finance. You know what I mean? We're not begging. We're not passing on no plates at lectures or nothing like that. All those lectures that we did, all those Moorish history month lectures that we did, it's up to whoever came there, put whatever you want to put. You know what I mean? We're not passing nothing around. Make no 6,000, 8,000 or whatever like that in the back, splitting stuff amongst everybody. That help put that on. That's not what we deal with. You know what I mean? Even I hear Sabir always complaining. You just said forget it. You know what I mean? Forget it. You want DVDs? Buy it wholesale. You're not bootlegging nothing around here. Just because. They're not supporting, so forget that crap. Buy wholesale. You want 50? Okay, I'll give you a price for 50. But you're not going to get one and then, bootleg and all that. Buy 50 and then you could bootleg something. It's not supposed to be like that. Right? Seeing all these people out here with, well, how do we, how are the Moors supposed to live and get a job? What do you mean, how are you supposed to live or whatever? If you can't get a job, then start doing something. Don't worry, I'll take care of you. Yeah, it's going to be a battle because you've been backing dirty Moors for 80 years. You think you're going to pay that back? That karma back? You think you're going to back dirty Moors for 80 years and then stop backing dirty Moors and all of a sudden stuff is just going to flow smooth? No, you got to pay for all that stupidness that you did backing these clowns. That Moors, once again, active Moors, studious Moors, who've been telling people, right, really what it is. They don't want to hear that. They want to go over here and listen to this guy because, he said on his show that, you can file a, XX7I form and then get some credits for something, right? So he told the Moors not to charge for membership, right? Not to charge for membership, which tells you the membership's free. As soon as you go in there and you realize that they're not giving you stuff free, right? We have a standard in our temple. Whoever comes in the door, you get Quran and 101 free. I'm not paying for that. You're gonna pay for Noble Ali stuff. It's not our stuff to sell, or you can sell that at expense. Well, if we have a connection and we can get photocopies for free, then why are we gonna charge you for that if we got photocopies for free? Right? That's the standard. As soon as you go to temple and they're talking about, 50 notes or whatever like that, or, well, nah, we can't give you a Quran yet, we gotta wait, and then we'll give you a Quran in 2 weeks because we have to see if you're really ready, to be a Moor because, problems in the temple and, traders and, people coming in and, we don't know who to trust or whatever like that. That's not people's business whether you trust them or not. That's their stuff. People come in the door, give them something so they can have something to consider. And if they have something to consider, hey, they might come back, especially if they get it for free. Why not? Why won't they come back? Or to overcharge for cards, right? All these Moors out here who's complaining about, nationality is free, but, you know, when I go on RV Bay or whatever, they say $50 for a card. And 3 cards, that's $100 or $50 or whatever like that. I thought nationality is free. Well, the machine to make that card costs 5,000. The card machine costs 5 G's. That's the lowest level one that you could get. We're not even talking about high-end ones. That's the low-level one. Because the cards what MasterCard got that they're making their cards of, that's like the $8,000, $10,000 machines that they got. So if these people went in their own pocket and made a machine, I think they could charge $50 for a card because that's real reasonable. That's very reasonable, right? That's very reasonable, right? 50 notes, and you have a hard card like any other card in your wallet. That when you rub the thing, they got Moors out there who got the dirt, the below $5,000 hard card. That the stuff could just sit in your wallet. You not even pull it out and the ink rub off of it. And they're telling people 200. But they're not talking about them overcharging for cards. But they're gonna talk about these people. You got hologram and stuff like that. You put that in the light right way. You know what I mean? Like you see like the world back there. You know what I mean? You could take your hand, put it in the nationality card that you get from RVB or whatever, because it's 3D like that. Right? 50 notes. Right? Okay. They not also you're not only supposed to you're not supposed to overcharge for cards, but you're not supposed to overcharge for buttons. The costumes stuff. Stuff they put on there, turban and stuff they put on here. You're not supposed to charge for all that, right? Or anything issued by the Prophet. Those who contribute to either of the preceding are not Moors but robbers. Not Moors, but robbers. So that means Moors aren't supposed to rob people. And as soon as they realize that you're getting robbed or somebody's getting robbed, automatically know that those aren't Moors. And then don't try to connect them to active Moors who's doing stuff like this same clown or whatever, talking all this crap. Well, Moors charge for this and Moors do this and more. Don't categorize me with dirty Moors. You know, there's a difference. There's Moors that are with this sincerely, and then there's Moors that are robbers. Robbers aren't the same as sincere, faithful, trustworthy Moors. It's different jurisdictions, two totally different jurisdictions that are not comparable. Membership, sisters and brothers, is free, not only here, but all over the world. So that's where that came from. Divine warning by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. When you hear Moors say nationality is free, that's where they got it from. They not watch some video of somebody and they seen it on him say it, so they're just parroting what that guy said. Majority of Moors that are active, when they talk, they're really saying what Noble Drew Ali said. They're just not telling you that they're quoting Noble Drew Ali. And dirty Moors, they want to take that same idea and make you think, oh wow, this guy's, he's on some heavy ones. Whew, say that again. Moore says it again. Like, whew, wow, that's what, right? And then when you ask them for Moorish literature, oh no, they can't get it. $50, $80, whatever like that, to keep you from getting Noble Drew Ali's literature, so you can read it and say, hey, hold on a second, I heard somebody say that already. How come they never said that they were quoting Noble Drew Ali? Why didn't they just say Noble Drew Ali said? Because they're not Moors but robbers. And there's many robbers out there. Right? Just like Sister Z said, this stuff is not hard. This ain't hard. It's easy. Super easy. All we have to do is do it. All we have to do is study what Noble Drew Ali brought. When you study what Noble Drew Ali brought, you'll realize how easy this is. Because he took away all the secrets. Took away all the secrets. Ain't no secrets. Like zero secrets. Zero. Noble Drew Ali hid nothing back from the Moors. Why? Because he's your prophet. And he knows what Allah's going to give him if he plays around with this and starts playing games or whatever. The button is 25 cents. The card, 25 cents. And 1 month's dues paid. Every member pays 50 cents a month for dues. This money goes towards the support of the temple. The dues money is supposed to go to the support of the temple. That's not what Kudro says. That's in the divine warning by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, general laws as said by the Prophet. So anybody who you see says, hey, we're having a whatever at the door. Hey, we're gonna do whatever, and they put a price tag on it. That price tag that you pay, whatever you pay, that's supposed to go directly to the temple. Nobody that says they're more is supposed to be benefiting off that. Any finance that you put in, just like we told people, right, when we were supposed to debate this joker, and he canceled and messaged me on a one-away. Let's do the lecture, debate, whatever in Harlem because we can pack that house and we'll split the door. I don't do those ones. You know what Noble Drew Ali is going to do to me for doing those ones? You know what Allah's going to do to me for doing those ones? talk about split doors and stuff like that, and it's fiat on top of that. It's not even nothing real. Keep profits finance. Noble Ali himself said, yeah, you keep my stuff, it's gonna burn up in your pocket. You wouldn't even get to spend that. And burn pockets means skin burn too. Money burning in your pocket, guarantee your skin's gonna burn. Guarantee. You're gonna have bruised thighs. Play around with Noble Drew Ali's fiat that he been telling these Moors, I need finance, I need it badly. Take everything that you got and put it into the temple. You could subscribe to whatever. You can go to the bank and you can say, hey, banker guy, I need 50,000 and get it. You better get it and go give it to the temple. Because, if you don't, you're only calling judgment on yourself. You're only calling judgment on yourself. Try keeping Noble Drew Ali's funds. Have a fez on talking about, I'm going to take this 500 and I'm going to go buy me some sneakers. First day, those are going to get scuffed the hell up. First day, you put those on, scuffed up your brand new sneakers, now you're pissed. Right? I seen a more post, had some fiat. Didn't go to the temple with it. Went and bought flat screen TV. Plug it in, don't work. Now you got to take the stuff off the wall, put it back in the box, lug this thing all the way back to where you got it, just because. Trying to jack Noble Drew Ali's funds. Trying to jack Noble Drew Ali's funds. And then Moors don't learn. I guarantee you, he's not going to stop and say, hold on a second, maybe that's a sign from Allah not to buy this TV, or not to buy these sneakers, or not to buy this whatever crap that I'm going to buy to keep this European in power. Not going to see that as a sign. They're going to say, oh, I knew I should have got the other version, and then they're going to go spend again, and then lose out again, and then not supporting what really is supposed to be going down, which is making sure that the Prophet has finance so that this work could continue. So remember, the one temple and one Prophet. And the one temple is the Moorish nation, not some group of Moors that say that they're the one temple. The money goes towards the support of the temple. This, if not paid, does not entitle you to the protection that is provided for you, and especially if you are not working or in a position to work. If you neglect to fulfill this small duty assigned to you, how can you rightfully expect money or other help when you are sick or otherwise disabled? And to be a real Moorish leader, you must study the Quran and divine constitution that is handed on to you by I, the Prophet. The head of any temple can maintain an emergency fund, which cannot exceed the amount of from 25 cents to 50 cents a week per member. All public collections and dues also go to the support of the temple and its domestic work. The head of every temple must by law obey the word of the Prophet, and if any head, leader, or head of any temple fails to obey these laws, embezzlement is his charge and is subject to enforcement by the law, subject to enforcement of the law by the grand body. And a penalty may be a fine or removal from office or placed under a very heavy restriction of the law. Supreme words of the Prophet. So supreme words of the Prophet. Supreme means, so if it's supreme words, then we better take what he's saying serious, because trust me, this more doesn't play. Right? And then when you go to the 101 questionnaire, 101 questionnaire, and then you read the additional laws, you find out, that there was more dirt that he was dealing with because it's just that crazy. Moors taking advantage of Noble Drew all these stuff. Don't want to give him credit. They want to take credit, put their face on stuff, you know what I mean? Put, put out a book, put them on it, you know what I mean? Have their picture in there, posing, stuff like that, and not give Noble Drew all his props. Bumped into this at the library today. Decided to jack this. Interesting, because you hear the Moors, the active Moors, don't call this the United States of America Constitution and all that. They say American Constitution. And what they got on the first page? The radical left and the American Constitution. How come they didn't call it U.S. Constitution? Because they know better. It's only dumb people that want to play the game like this Constitution didn't come from the copper-tone natives. The copper-tone natives. So all the international Moors want to give you some inspiration so that you can see for yourself how much these people call themselves Europeans know about you, even though they're not telling you. But don't worry, we'll tell, just so that you can be inspired. So we have a merchant receiving a Moor in the harbor, and this is from 1660. Right? Everything's black and white today, but there's our brother with his big turban on. That's on for brother Battle Bay. See that the brother's got his turban with the feather to show you that you're right in tune, asking about the Moors' turbans, the brothers' turbans, not the sisters' turbans, the brothers' turbans. Right? There's the Moor, and there's another Moor in the back right there. And there's the merchant with his little, concubinage, little Pied Piper, fiddler, guitar guy up there, playing this melodic music while the Moor comes, to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. We put them on. Right? There has always been a presence of blackamoors in Europe. So there you go. You can see on this little vase right here, whatever the hell this is. I don't know what the hell this is. But see the Asiatic, then the European on there, then you see the Greek writing right there, so you know that this is some European stuff. Letting us know that they know about us. It's not a secret. Moors is not a secret. Which, by the way, put this on the record. So today they had their little Black History Month event at this school that I'm at, and they were supposed to do something, and they decided not to do it again. Right when they decided not to do it again, all day I'm hunting this teacher down, that was doing this, Mind you, European teachers, the Asiatic teachers, they ain't interested in, whatever. A European and an Oriental teacher put on the Black History Month freaking thing, which, is logical, black means pale, so, it is what it is, right? So this was Friday. So Friday, they're like, oh my gosh, you want to be in the assembly or whatever? Oh, all right, we just canceled this thing out. We'll slot you right in. So, got a little 10 minutes, you know what I'm saying? So in the 10 minutes, there was two assemblies, one's for the grade 9s and 10s, one's for the grade 11 and 12s, right? You know, everybody loves the Rasta man, so, you know, go on the stage, wow, nobody expected that, you know what I mean? How the hall monitors gonna talk about some black history or whatever, let's see what's good. So, we talked about all the stuff, we talked about Noble Drew Ali, we talked about Morgan Freeman dissing Black History Month, we talked about, um, being that we're in so-called jurisdiction of Canada, we talked about Queen Elizabeth II's great-great-great-grandmother, Charlotte Sophia, you know what I mean? We talked about her lips and how her lips look Asiatic, you know what I mean? We talked about the etymology of black. We talked about right under black, the term blackamoor. We talked about, we had the yellow box. We said, how come, Chinese people don't call themselves this? We talked about dark-skinned Mongolians. We talked about the colored league before the NHL. Before the NHL, there was a colored league in Canada with Asiatics. Hockey was founded by us. We started hockey, not some Europeans. Just go research Black Ice. Go get that book right there. Black Ice. About the brothers that started hockey, the brothers that created the slap shot, the brothers that created, goalie being able to skate out on the ice and score goals in the other nets and stuff like that, right? We talked about so-called black cowboys. We talked about New Orleans and, the Caravana parade looking so-called Indians, you know what I mean? Um, we talked about, what else did we talk? We talked about Islam to the Khalifa Moors. We had to talk about Khalifa, because a lot of, in that school, you have they got fiat to go places, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people travel all over the United States for their little, you know, club sports stuff that they do outside of school, and California is a place where they visit frequently for their little sports whatever, you know what I mean? So we talked about Queen Khalifa. um, what else was there? It was a 10 minutes, so we were just, bam bam bam, hitting them, hitting them, hitting them, hitting them, you know what I mean? So after the thing now, oh yeah, we also talked about um, the inventors. You know what I mean? I went through the list. You know what I'm saying? Went through the list. Anybody got a, home security system? Oh yeah, everybody put their hand up, because of school, they got a Fiat or whatever. So I was very selective of the certain things that I picked as far as the inventions. You know what I mean? They got cafeteria that they sell ice cream. Everybody's always buying ice cream, whatever. Hey, everybody, ice cream around here. Huh? Brother made ice cream. Brother made kitchen table. Everybody got a kitchen table in here, all this type of stuff. It goes through the list, right? So at the end of the day now, brother comes up to me looking like a Hindustani. You know what I mean? Comes up to me looking at Hindustani. It's like, a lot of that stuff you were saying is right, especially when you were talking about only outside of North America are people not called by colors, right? So he's quote unquote, remember, he quote unquote looks like uh, Hindustani. Looks like a Hindustani. telling me that he's from the continent, from there, born there, been there for, you know, most of his life, right? And then moved here. His family's there, been there, from one of the French-speaking countries there. And that it was very interesting that I made up that point about there's no such thing as black people outside of North America, because that was the first thing that he found. This is a 17-year-old. When he came here, the first thing that he thought that was weird is, why are they calling those people black people? I come from the place called the continent. I come from so-called Africa. And we don't know nothing called black people over there. We don't call people black over there. We call them from where they come from as far as their country. 17-year-old. Recognize this, right? So, saying all that to say that the world knows about this fraud that our people perpetuate, you know what I mean, trying to pretend like they know something, you know, conscious knowledge of self, you know, because they went to Africa and saw pyramids and stuff like that. You know, they think they know their stuff because, you know, they went back home, saw pyramids. But they come back here, call themselves black people, which is a fraud. Which means that you didn't learn anything when you went over there. You were just going over there just so you can come back here and boast that you went over there and saw some pyramids. Everyone knows. In the material culture of classical antiquity, a patera, P-A-T-E-R-A, is a shallow ceramic or metal libation bowl. It often has bulbous indentation, a belly button in the center, underside to facilitate holding it, in which case it is sometimes called mesophalic patera. So this is a mesophalic, MESOMPHALIC, patera, out of Europe. And then when you check this, see all the Asiatic heads on it. All the Asiatic heads on it. How come they didn't put their own head on this stuff? How come they have Asiatic heads on this? And you know, you already know these are Asiatics right here. You know, you can't front. Put the ones that are right side up. You know, without, in black and white even, can't even see properly, but you know that these aren't some Europeans. Always making stuff with our culture on it, with us on it, parading it around like some, you know, ornament of whatever. And then we get lost because we're looking for black stuff. When the only thing relative to us from a historical perspective is Moors. When you research Moors, you'll find ample amounts of things. Right? Patera bowl. You know. Once again, Greek figurine stuff. Europeans know what's up. It's not a secret. They know what's up. And don't be fooled, you know, when you do your research and you hear them talking about, you know, the black and the Negroid features and all that stuff. They know they're talking about Moors, because blackamoor means a Negro. Blackamoor means any dark-skinned person, but not necessarily somebody from North Africa. Right? Oh, another interesting one. I thought about this one. So teacher now comes up, science teacher, and he's, you know, good job today, you know what I mean? Inventions and all that stuff, actually, it's funny that you brought that up about the inventions, because we're trying to find a way to get people who look like you more interested in science, because the only people interested in science are the ones who look like the scientists that we talk about all the time. We realize that when students culturally identify with something, they'll actually connect to it. So we want, to find ways to implement certain things, and then we started talking about, putting the truth out as a teacher, right? And that when you put the truth out as a teacher, you have to be mindful of what you put out because of the curriculum, and only renegade teachers are going to go against the status quo and make sure that whatever, so we're standing there talking, then he starts talking about, yeah, it's interesting that you were talking about that thing about there's no such thing as black people in anywhere in the world, because, remember, this is a school with, everybody, teachers, students, whoever, you know what I mean? They don't just have teacher money. They got other money that they got, right? From whatever, slave trade, whatever, right? so so he's talking about how, yeah, well, when we went to Italy, and the people in Italy identified all the dark-skinned people there as Moroccans. But they didn't identify them as Moroccans based on them being from Morocco. Mind you, this is a teacher, redhead, you know what I'm saying? Got the big beard and all that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So he has the strain in him, right? But what was interesting, that he knew, and he was told that in Italy, dark-skinned people in Italy are identified as Moroccans. But not all those people come from Morocco. How much people know about us that we don't know about ourselves? Greece again. Vase with elderly blackamoor woman dancing and worshipping Isis. We already know that she's worshipping a set, because ISIS some European, and we ain't worshipping no damn Europeans. They came from the cave. There's no need to worship them when we taught them, right? On a vase, sisters, there's you. They know who you are. They got you on the vase, their vase, worshiping your ancestors. You already know. You can just look at the sister, see that she's Asiatic. See those nose holes right there? And that those lips right there? You already know. You already know. They're not even hiding. Another one for Brother Battle Bay, turban, right? And then the caption of this one, or the site for this one, is artclon.com. I didn't even go on there yet to see what else they got, but I'm pretty sure they got some stuff on here if they got this. And then this is Amor. I think this was called Amor, a blackamoor giving a fair maiden a parrot. And there he is with his feather. You know what I mean? And then, this is almost like um, the Moors today, unconscious Moors, when they got their hat twisted to the side, right? You got the feather on the side, which just show that, you know, Moors been stylish. Moors been doing their thing. Right? Got the feather to the side. And there's the fair maiden. Because it's our history. Everybody knows already. We're just the ones in the dark. Still Life with Portrait by David Bailey. So you might want to research him, David Bailey. Right? The site is art, ARTCLON.com. ARTCLON.com. Um, Still Life Portrait, 1650 by David Bailey, Johnson Museum of Art, Cornell University. They have an interesting caption here, which allows us to, just like the brother with the turban, you know what I mean, on the side or whatever, or you might see some Moors with, you know, the twisted fez, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, we got this hip-hop culture thing going on or whatever. The caption says, the heavy chain around his neck indicates that the man is a nobleman wearing a medallion. And then we think about hip-hop. And we think about all our favorite MCs from back in the day who had their ropes with their big medallions on to prove that they're noblemen. They might not have been doing it for that, but that's what it was. You know what I mean? You know, we already know Slick Rick even had the crown on, right? Kane even had the throne. And then this piece with the skull, it reminded me of Django. For some reason, Django just came to my mind when I seen this. Right? And also, when you're doing your research and you hear them talk about noblemen and all that stuff, know that they mean Moors. So they start talking about noblemen, know that they mean Moors. Right? So you can just put that in, and then it'll come up. Vanitas, Vanitas, Still Life with Portrait by David Bailey. And I'm sure David Bailey got some more stuff. Shock you. Now, Memnon Uzan, the historic etymology of the Moor. The term Moor has been used by many Europeans since ancient times as a general description for indigenous Africans. Contrary to popular belief, the term is not synonymous with Islamic or any specific Arab religion, civilization, or ethnicity. For all those jokers who want to say, you know, as soon as we say that we're Moors, they want to start talking about Qurans and Salat and go to Mecca and all this type of stuff. Like, hold on there, buddy, hold on. Not all Moors are Muslim. Yeah, well, you know, the Moors are, you know, and these guys say Islam, so that means that, you know, you guys are, you know, the pale Arabs gave you religion. Well, hold on a second. Moors aren't only Muslim. Yeah, well, you say Islam, so then you have to go do Salat, and then when you do Salat, then they're going to take your head and... Moors aren't only Muslim. Contrary to popular belief, the term is not synonymous with Islamic or any specific Arab religion, civilization, or ethnicity. beat them up with that when they come at you with, Islamic and whatever. Oh, and also too, to add this, if they do try to force that Islam on you, right? Just tell them that you're Sufi, and that'll shut them the hell up, because they don't even know what Sufi is. And hopefully that'll inspire them to go do some research, to go find out what Sufi is, so they can realize that we're not mere believers of some religion, right? We're not, we don't just believe stuff because we heard something, right? We know that the Kaaba in Mecca, it comes from Kemet. Kaaba, that's Kemet. That's Kemet. For all those Egyptologists that don't want to be Moors because of Islam, but then, there's Kemetic stuff in Mecca. The origin of the English term Moor is the Greek word mavro, which literally means black. Greek though, because Brother Abdullah broke it down for all those jokers. Well, why are you calling yourself Moor? That's a European term. Well, no, not really, because Moor means a lot of stuff, and not just what Europeans say Moor means. And has long been used to describe black or very dark things, such as Mavri Thalassa, Mavrithalassa, Mavrithalassa, which refers to the Black Sea. So the Black Sea actually comes from, right? Mavri Spilia, Mavrispilia, Mavrispilia, which means black cave. Ancient Greeks used the term to describe the complexion of Africans, and even today, some Greeks use Mavro to refer to Africans. The word's evolution from Greek Mavro to the Latin word Mavrus, actually Mavro in masculine Latin form. The English transliteration is Morus, and the plural form is Mori, specifically used by ancient Romans in reference to black Africans. Their own writers' words. Writers in both Greek and Latin specifically use the term as a racial identity. In the Epitome de Caesaribus, Caesaribus, we learn that Aemilianus was a Moor by race. Procopius of Caesarea, a Byzantine scholar who wrote in Greek, said in his history of the wars, beyond that there are men not black-skinned like Moors. Even though the Middle Ages, the term, as well as Spanish Moro, German Moor, and Dutch Moor, continued to be used in reference to black Africans, in one of the oldest Dutch texts, a Moor was described specifically as quote-unquote black. Further proof of the true definition of the Latin term Moros can be found in early Latin English dictionaries. Morus was synonymous with Moor, Negro, Ethiops in John Ethics, a New English Latin Dictionary. In a new Latin English dictionary by William Young, Morris was a black Moor. According to Ainsworth, Latin Dictionary, Morell's abridgment by Alexander Jameson, Robert Ainsworth, Morris means blackmore. The English term Moor also meant black in English dictionaries and encyclopedia prior to the 20th century. Moor meant Negro or blackamoor in a dictionary of the English language 1768 by Samuel Johnson. The Encyclopedia London, Londinensis by John Wilkes lists Moor as follows: Moros, Latin, Greek, black, a Negro, a blackamoor. John Ogilvy's The Imperial Dictionary of the English Language, a Moor was a black man or Negro. Somehow by the 20th century, Moros and Moors suddenly transformed into Berber and Arab, a grave contrast to historical precedent. Everybody knows something. And that was an article by Memnon Uzan, The Historic Etymology of the Word of the Moor. And I think that's on Facebook somewhere too. Now we wanted to also bring some things to light for some of the new Moors that's been coming to the Canaanland Moors classes. We try to give everybody some shine just so that they can feel welcome and know that, we appreciate them for coming back home. Also, for our Moors, International, make sure you go get Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. Also, Sex and Race, Volume 1, 2, and 3. Also, From Superman to Man. Also, 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro. Also, Africa's Gift to America. Also, The 5 Negro Presidents. Right? Nature Knows No Color Line. This is a must-have for the Moors in the international community. Have to get this. Make sure you get this book. This is a must-have if you are out that way. Another must-have is Deuce Muhammad Ali, the autobiography of a pioneer Pan-African and Afro-Asian activist by Mustafa Abdel Wahid. This is also a must-have for the Moors that are in or on the other side of the Atlantic. All right? Because this goes into, actually let's just, we got some time still. Deuce Muhammad Ali was born in Alexandria, Egypt, to an Egyptian father and a Sudanese mother. He attended King's College of London. In 1885, at the age of 19, he started a career as a stage actor that lasted for 24 years. He was also in the company of Herbert Beerbohm Tree, Berbohm, and in Miss Langstrey's Antony and Cleopatra production at the Royal Princess Theatre in London. Mr. Ali also toured England, Ireland, and Scotland. He produced Othello and the Merchant of Venice at Hull, Yorkshire in 1902, playing the parts of Othello and the Prince of Morocco and winning the plaudits of the British press. Among his credits as a playwright are The Jew's Revenge, produced at the Royal Surrey Theatre in London in 1903, A Cleopatra Night at Dundee in 1907, and The Lily of Bermuda, a musical comedy which he produced at Theatre Royal in Manchester in 1909. Every production of his received the enthusiastic welcome of the British and American press, but perhaps the most outstanding of his productions and performances was A Daughter of Judah at the Empire Theatre in Glasgow in 1906. Reviewing the production, the London Daily Telegraph wrote, Deuce Mohammed is an actor of outstanding merit. He also produced many plays in America where he won fame as an actor. He founded the Hull Shakespeare Society, of which Sir Henry Irving was the first president, and the Anglo-Ottoman Society, London, which included Lords Newton, Lamington, Stourton, and Mowbray. He founded and was secretary of the Indian Muslim Soldiers, Widows, and Orphans War Fund in 1915, and among the patrons were Consuelo, the Duchess of Marlborough, the Right Honorable D. Lloyd George, Sir Edward Grey, Lord and Lady Lamington, Lord and Lady Newton, the Marquis and Marchioness of Crewe, Mrs. H. H. Asquith, Sir Austin and Lady Chamberlain, Lord Curzon, and almost all members of the British cabinet. That's the status that Deuce Muhammad Ali had. I know that he was known as a Sudanese Moor, so they can't hide him either, right? They can't hide him either. Sudanese Moor. Had all these Europeans tripping at his plays. We're going to talk quickly about our brother from Senegal by the name of Alonso de Illescas. Alonso was also a diplomat, one who on one hand fought against the Spaniards and on the other hand knew how to make friends. He assisted other so-called blacks who were on shipwrecked slave ships and nursed them back to health, then recruited them into his revolutionary force against Spanish troops. He was also a true governor of what is now Ecuador's province of Esmeraldas, never subject to bribes, and even rejected the title of governor when many politicians gave up their properties to take the title of governor of Esmeraldas. Alonso Illescas trained new leaders, starting with his son Alonso Sebastian de Illescas and his grandson Geronimo, so that they be loving of justice and liberty and keep their territory free from Spanish rule. Although Esmeraldas was the first province invaded by the Spanish, it was the alliance between so-called blacks and indigenous people that kept the Spanish from taking full control. There's good brother Alonso. I want to put him up there because he's the national hero of Ecuador. And we recently had some Moors, or a Moor, I should say, come into the fold from Ecuador out here. A Moor from Ecuador had joined the Moorish Science Temple of America. Just so Moors know. So we want to make sure we put some inspiration out there so the brother knows that we know what's up. We know him. He's coming back home. We know what's up. We also wanted to put out there Carlos Tenorio and Austin Delgado, so you can see that Ecuadorians look like this, right? These are how Ecuadorians look. And eventually you're going to see the brother, and when you see the brother, you'll realize that, he has the gene. Just like the big beard, redhead European at our school, the Ecuadorians are clearly not what, we would think they are, because that's South America, and, our people are from there, and, Spanish rule over there and all that stuff. No Spanish rule, nothing. Asiatics over there too. also another brother that came into the fold. Now, when we really analyze, what's going on, right? What's really going on is that the prophecies of Noble Drew Ali are basically coming to pass. Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, one day you're going to need 16 secretaries. We're there. That time is now. So we want to put a shout out to our brother from Iraq that just came home. And here's some Iraqis, just so you know, that Iraqis don't look like what we think that they look like. Iraqis are Asiatics too. Don't count them out. And a lot of them know who their ancestors are. That's why an Iraqi could come join the Moorish Science Temple of America. Because he already knows that the Moors are the founders of civilization, dark-skinned people. They're Iraqis. Iraqis that they would never show you. So if they showed you these Iraqis, you'll know that Moors rule everywhere. One more Iraqi. Just so we know. And just so he knows that we know what's up. Welcome the brothers back into the constitutional fold, getting out of the corporate fold and into the constitutional fold again, under the rule of the Moors, the ancient foremothers and forefathers of everybody on the planet, dark-skinned people. Remember, when we say bring the people back into the constitutional fold, we are talking about all nations. That's why Noble Drew Ali told the Moors, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, because we are denationalized. But majority of the people who are outside of this jurisdiction, they already have a nationality. And what they're really doing is they're naturalizing. Because they're foreigners, they're naturalizing. And in them naturalizing, they're tying themselves back to the de jure constitutional government, not the de facto corporate government that they thought was a de jure government, which is why they even took whatever those people were given for them to come over here. But now that they're here, they're seeing turbans and fezzes now, and they're asking questions about, well, hold on a second. There's turbans and fezzes where I come from in Iraq. How come those people aren't the ones running stuff? How come it's these Europeans? And they do their research. They get on RV Bay publications and all that. and they're studying and they're realizing that, hold on a second, hold on a second, something's definitely up. Prophet after Muhammad? What do you mean there's a prophet after Muhammad? Nobody ever told us over there that there's a prophet after Muhammad. They try to make it like Muhammad's it. Muhammad's not it. Muhammad's not it. Okay, if you're wondering what's going down right here, this is the Black Tiger Roots tonic. You can get this from Adiro Herbals, Adero Herbals. They got a little bookshelf at the temple where they move their holistic products. Go check them out. Moore's working hard, right? So it's everything's going, right back around to where it started with the Asiatics. One more thing that we wanted to put on the record before we close out. Winnipeg Freeman on trial for growing pot wants to see the Queen. They have been described as being a royal pain for those who work in the justice system. But now a local member of the Free Man on the Land movement is on trial for running a marijuana grow operation, is demanding he be allowed to face his accuser in court. It says here Queen versus Scott David Peters. Well, where is my accuser? Where is Her Majesty the Queen? Why isn't she on the stand? Peters asked members of a Winnipeg jury Monday. There is no case against me. The question was one of many posted during a rambling 100-minute closing argument in which Peters acted as his own defense lawyer. Queen's Bench Justice Robert Dewar repeatedly cautioned him to stay on point, but clearly gave Peters plenty of latitude. Right? European helping their brother. That's why you're not supposed to be up in there. Because you don't have any brothers up in there. You're diverse to all those people. Even if it's an Asiatic that's sitting on the bench, he's not your brother. He's working for the Inquisitionists. Growing pot without a license. The Crown, meanwhile, took all of 5 minutes to summarize their simple case. Peters was found with 56 plants in the basement of his North End home by police officers executing a court-authorized search warrant in 2012. Growing pot without a license is illegal. Peters doesn't have a license, therefore he should be found guilty, they argued. Jury deliberation is set to begin Tuesday morning. But Peters appeared to relish his opportunity to speak to the 12 citizens who will decide his fate, taking them on a wild ride that included railing against the government, bureaucrats, and even sounding off against fluoride in drinking water, the public school system, and monosodium glutamate. It is all about mind control, Peters said. He denied any wrongdoing despite the mounting of evidence against him. No man's life, liberty, or property are safe, Peters said at one point, quoting Mark Twain, I have the right to use my property as I see fit. Nobody has the right to question anything. Peters is claiming he is exempt from the law, refused to acknowledge his own name, and repeatedly frustrated both the Crown and the judge throughout the two-day trial. Peters isn't the first free man to irritate justice officials. Last month, a Winnipeg man charged with illegally soaring over the city in a powered paraglider told a judge he should be exempt from prosecution. Tony Gibson, 35, claimed he is a sovereign individual whose civil rights are being abused. His case remains before the courts. As we know, civil rights unconstitutional since 1800s, so these free men on the land are a fraud. Any Asiatics following them are a fraud, because you have a nationality and you have a birthright and you have a prophet, but you don't want to acknowledge him. You're going to follow these free men jokers who don't have a status here because they're claiming to be free man, which is not a nationality. They're claiming to be sovereign and not identifying the nation that gave them the sovereignty that they're claiming that they got. So they're a fraud. And that's just what it is. So leave the free man crap alone. Get down with the Moorish Divine and National Movement ASAP, because It's getting harder to be a Moor. It's getting harder to make that crossover because they're putting brass walls up to stop people from proclaiming their nationality. They are making it extremely hard. But guess what? The truth of the matter is Rome must fall. And Rome will fall. And Rome doesn't have a chance of survival in the North Gate because the Moors are back. So with that, we want to say Islam to all the Moors everywhere. Islam to the Canaanland Moors for staying strong and holding steadfast. Islam to the international Moors. And Islam to all the Moors in northwest of Mexico, standing up for their nationality and birthrights. We give the highest honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We're not parrots, we're not man worshippers. We recognize the lessons that Noble Drew Ali brought. We study what Noble Drew Ali brought, and we exercise what Noble Drew Ali brought. Because we know through our studying that what Noble Drew Ali brought is right and exact for the salvation of our people. We are not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865. But this is a new era of time now. And this new era of time is the Moorish Renaissance. So don't forget, go get your, smoothie or whatever, your organic cereal, almond milk, whatever like that, your tea. Get ready. Sons of Allah, 9:30, blogtalkradio.com/MHHS, eyes wide open. Islam to all the Moors, peace, love, and hotep. Let's close out with our Moorish American prayer. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Islam, Ashe. Hear you in about 25 minutes. Peace.